So this morning I received a call from one of the stores that I'm in, stating that they received some more requests for my items to be removed, blah, 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 right? And so I'm frustrated. I'm like, yo, this is like super fucking crazy, right? I haven't killed anybody. I didn't do, and it's all started over lies from a woman who is insecure because her husband's cheated on her in the past and she thinks that I'm fucking him. And I'm not fucking him. And to be clear, this was stated on the record in court. Okay. But anyway, so I'm frustrated every day. I go through the motions. It's crying, feeling like I'm okay, ready to fight because people are sending me these messages from fake ass pages and shit. And I'm just like, these innocent internet gangsters. So that song coming on or playing at that part, like as soon as I get out, and if you know the song, that's like the meat of the song. Like you hear the beginning of the song, right? But that part. So yeah, if you know the song, that's the meat of the song, right? Like that's the breakdown. That's when you like, woo, you starting to feel it. Okay. You feel it in the beginning because it starts off, like I've got so much to thank for. I can't even remember, like I'll have to go to it. Like, like so many blessings and for waking me up this morning. Like the song starts off strong, right? But that part, that middle part right there is like when, you start to, you be like, yes, hallelujah, all of that other stuff, right? Because you just be thinking about how grateful you are, right? I know that if I died today, baby, I have lived an amazing fucking life. Like people are going to come to my funeral and they're going to talk about the amazing things that I have done in their life, for their life, in the community. Like that is what is going to happen, right? And I have to be reminded by of that, right? Me being upset and, going through these motions, it has nothing to do with my past. There is not a person on this fucking planet, not one, that can make me feel bad about anything that I have experienced or lived or survived or gone through in life. Like literally no one, right? There's no one. But someone lying in a malicious way to purposely hurt you, like that is different. Like having people try to take what you have built. I can't read my fucking watch because I'm on the phone and then anyway. It's totally different. My oldest, not my biological oldest, but my oldest turned 21 on Sunday, and I had 21 gifts for her. When they came into the house, they stole all 21 of the gifts. They stole all my Tiffany, all my bags, right? So yeah, they got all 21 of her gifts for her birthday. All of my Tiffany, except for the Tiffany that I'm wearing, that I was wearing at the time. All my purses, my bags, my shoes. And when you hear this, you're thinking material, right? Which is, they are materials. But when I'm hearing it and thinking of it, I'm not thinking of it of the sense of like, oh, I have this so I could wear this or whatever. My children fought over who was having my Tiffany, who would get my bags, who would get my shoes, who would get certain things, right? It was like a literal thing. So when I think of these things that are of value, not because of the cost, but because of what it was going to mean to my children to have them, that makes me upset, right? But the people, they needed it, baby. They couldn't buy that shit on their own. I'm gonna be all right. Every day is a new day. And I also have to remember that despite what's going on, there are people who still want my life. Like the daughter of the owner who talks so much big shit, but she only talks that big shit behind like a Google Voice number, a text me number, a something number. She won't call me directly, right? And when I told Shorty, like, give me your address and I'll pull up, nothing was provided. Or the people who create the fake pages to follow me and leave me comments or send emails to my business email, or the people who even come from their page. Like nothing in my life. I could have absolutely nothing to do, and I still do not have the time to create a fake page number or anything to go harass somebody. I don't have that time. I don't have that energy. And if you do, you're living a life I don't want to live. it was admitted on record that payments had been received up until the end of September. Now, there is a payment in question. Somehow that payment wasn't received. I don't know, but there's only one payment in question. So the narrative that I have been staying at a place since March and not making any payments, it was untrue. Documentation was provided that showed that I did not initiate the switching from Airbnb to direct payments to the owner in some scheme to circumvent a process that wasn't the case. Those direct payments were sent, those direct links were sent willingly. Not only willingly, but they were initiated by the other party. It was decided that I don't have tenant rights. Those things were untrue. And to get on the news to say things that are untrue shows a lot about a person's character and shows that they had malicious intent because they knew it would go off like this. And the thing about the truth is that the truth doesn't always, it's not heard as loud as the lie is. So the damage that this has caused, irreparable. I have had people reaching out to the stores that my products in. I've had people reaching out to the schools that I have mentored girls in. I've had people reaching out to organizations that I've done free events for. To the people who made their decision and left comments, the people who know me or who have known me. Fuck y'all. And y'all wouldn't say it to my face.
So this DC squatter situation, I am late to the party, but let's get caught up together, okay? I'm going to use last names because, baby, I'm going to butcher the mess out of them doggone first names, so we're just going to go with last names, okay? So Douglas is the woman that owned the home. Romero is the woman that was supposed to be renting an Airbnb for 30 days because her home had caught on fire and she needed a place to stay while she dealt with her actual home. Okay, that's how the story started out in February of this year. After them doggone 30 days, Romero is saying that they moved into a tenant agreement. Douglas is saying, no, he didn't, not at all. This is an Airbnb. This is temporary. No, what you mean we went to a lease? So she ain't been paying not a dime since February, talking about we moved into a tenant agreement and now I have renters' rights. Ma'am, what? Are we delusional in life? Got to be delusional. Because if I set up an Airbnb, I'm setting up for temporary situations. I don't want somebody in here every doggone month. I want somebody new in and out so I can charge them excessively. Just a tad. Douglas was trying everything to get this woman out. She even offered her $2,500. She went through the court. She was calling authorities. They was like, only thing we can do is a court order. She gave her a notice. She even signed the notice saying she was leaving. They did a Zoom court appearance one time. Douglas said that Romero pushed her off of a ladder. She done put the utilities in her daughter's name. All that jazz. And in the midst of all of that, not paying her a dime, on her social media, you can see her promoting her nonprofit organization, traveling, going on all these doggone trips, things of that sort. But you're not paying me no doggone money. So I'm paying for all my regular bills and this mortgage on this property because I'm not getting no income from this property because you're not paying nothing. You just up in there like you own the place. She said that she had at one point had gotten back into the house when she had left out of town and boarded it up, changed the locks, and she broke back into the house. She got signs up, things of that sort. The neighbors have let her know when she got back into the house. It was a hot mess. And so the court appearance was yesterday, December the 11th, and the judge did go ahead and immediately approve for Douglas to be able to get back into her property and take over her property, and she did, and she had a crew to go with her to get her stuff out of there. She kicked Romero's stuff out so doggone fast. They had a chain passing that stuff out that door to get her up out of there. Now she did come to social media and give us the waterworks. The Oscar did not have her in the category of best award. It did have her in the category of you tried it, and she did win the category of you tried it. Okay, because she absolutely tried it, but she did not win the Oscar for best performance. Okay, it didn't become across believable. She tried to be like, oh, this is not what really had happened. There is no way that anybody on this earth believes that that woman had an agreement with you that went from an Airbnb situation to a tenant situation. She would not have done so. Absolutely not. And you have no proof you was making payments at all. So she on her way. She gonna have to figure out life. They did say that their previous property that she said had burned down was actually an eviction. But the homeowner, Douglas, she should have never had to have gone through this. She should have never had to have this financial loss. Because how do you go from her being an Airbnb host to a landlord all of a sudden and you take away her rights? Absolutely diabolical. Make sure y'all fix that because these people gonna keep trying like her, okay? In debt because of this mess. And I hope she countersues her and gets some of that money back that she has lost because this right here was a financial burden on her. But I'm glad she got her property back. She probably gonna sell it and move on because she probably just really over it. But I wish everybody the best.
She booked 32 days but stayed nearly a year, and now Shadija Romero, the D.C. squatter who hijacked an Airbnb, has finally been evicted. Romero reserved Rochan Douglas's Washington, D.C. home through Airbnb back in February, claiming her own house was damaged by fire. The reservation ended March 29, but she refused to leave, asserting tenant rights after just 30 days. For months, Douglas fought through police calls, court hearings, and even offered Romero $2,500 to vacate. This week, a judge ruled Romero had no tenancy rights, upholding a signed agreement to leave and clearing the way for her removal, according to Fox 5 DC. Now let's talk about what this case really exposes. How does a short-term rental morph into a year-long nightmare? Airbnb was built on trust, hosts opening their doors, guests respecting the rules. But here's the contradiction. In cities like D.C., tenant protections are so strong that someone can flip a 30-day stay into a pseudo-lease without ever paying rent. Should laws meant to protect vulnerable renters be weaponized against homeowners who never signed a lease in the first place? And what does it say about platforms like Airbnb when hosts are left to fight battles that the company itself seems reluctant to touch? Romero's case isn't isolated. Reports show she has a history of evictions and non-payment. So the question is bigger than one squatter. It's about a system that allows repeat offenders to exploit loopholes while ordinary people foot the bill. If Douglas hadn't fought back, Romero could still be living rent-free today. Is that justice, or is it legalized theft dressed up as tenant rights? Here's the double standard. If a homeowner overstays their mortgage, the bank moves fast. But when a guest overstays in your property, suddenly the burden shifts to you. Endless hearings, legal fees, months of stress. Why is the law quicker to protect institutions than individuals? So I'll leave you with this. Should tenant protections apply to squatters who never had a lease, or should homeowners have stronger safeguards against exploitation? Drop your thoughts, because this isn't just about one woman in D.C. It's about the balance of rights, property, and accountability in America's housing system.
Okay, so I barely been hearing about this story. I didn't even hear about this story last year when it broke about this Shadja. I don't know how to say her name. I don't know how to say her name, but she's the famous, well now infamous DC squatter who squatted in this Airbnb for almost about a year back in 2025. So she moved into this Airbnb claiming that her apartment was on fire and that she lost everything. So, which her apartment was on fire, but claiming to fire records, it was only her apartment. And the reason why only her apartment was on fire was because she owed the owner $50,000 in back rent. So I guess she decided to set the apartment on fire. Doesn't make no sense. And then, so they also put in record that she had financial difficulties with the DMV in DC, and she was sued for not making car payments. So now, here we are, a couple of months later, and now she's suing Roshan. I think her name is Roshan, Rochanne. I don't know. Saying that she lost luxury items. So after she moved out of the apartment, she moved in, she paid the first month, the first 32 days that she was there. And then she planned to live rent free for a whole year while filing motions and all this stuff because she wants to stay within the legal system, she says. So in December 2025, the judge ruled that the squatter had no tenant rights, and Douglas and Roshan could choose to evict her if she wanted to. Okay, because as you guys seen earlier in the news clips, she tried to give her like to sign a tenant, like she's not a tenant, but she signed it, but she never left. She tried to give her 2,500, never took it, and never left. And one person said that she had a baby and a man living in the Airbnb with her. I don't know what that's about. That's a whole new thing because I read I read about 4 articles. I didn't see nothing about a man nor a baby. That's why I didn't put that clip in the beginning. Okay, so now she's going after the homeowner for 50K for luxury items, like I said. She said these luxury items went missing or they were damaged during the chaos and the move. Okay, so during that time, she was supposed to come in the morning to pick up her items and everything out of Roshan's house. But she decided to come at 8 o'clock at night to pick up her items. And the article was like she was banging on the door. She was threatening Roshan to beat her up, and she brought other people with her. I said, God dang, this lady is doing too much. All because you lost? Yo, get a grip. Anywho, so she's suing for emotional distress and defamation. So the judge said, hell with that. No, I'm gonna dismiss it. So the judge dismissed the case. That, but he let the $50,000 case go through. So now they're saying she has 7 pages. 7 pages of luxury items. Okay. that she had 2 pairs of meta glasses, sunglasses, I think they're sunglasses, multiple sunglasses from Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, Chanel, Versace. She had high-end designer earrings, and girl, there is just so much. Handbags, a Hemi Suave child. It was just a lot. Girl, I didn't read all 7 pages. I wasn't going to read them pages because I'm thinking they're all lies. Because she's been, if you go back to the 2 videos that she sent in her car, she was saying nothing but lies. Boy, I tell you, like you're just so bitter. Get over it. You lost. Poor lady. So Roshan had sold her house this week to get away from this whole thing, right? So now she wants the judge to dismiss the 500K claim because it's another breach of contract and continuous motions and lawsuits that she's not supposed to do. I really hope this rules in Roshan's favor because this lady's off her damn rocker. You lost, give it up, move on. But hell, what do I know? I'm just a talking head.
7 years.
So do y'all remember the DC squatter? Why is this doggone woman trying to sue the Airbnb lady? She is doing too doggone much. Leave this lady alone and let her be and go on with her doggone life. Why is she trying to hold her into this space of life to make her miserable? This got to stop. She is suing her for $500,000, talking about that her property was missing. Luxury items, she's talking about purses and bags and all this kind of stuff is missing, and she sued her. She also tried to do defamation and emotional distress, but the judge did dismiss those claims, but they are letting this $500,000 claim of property proceed forward. I don't know why. Especially the financial burden that she put on her and her family, going through all of this mess of not paying for that doggone Airbnb and then having to go through eviction to get her little honey out of there. And when she finally gets you out of there, you want to say she took your property? Absolutely not. You are exhausting. You are very exhausting. Now, she did say she had Ring camera to show when she put the stuff out there. And I thought all of that was recorded because I did see video footage of people helping her take the stuff out of the house because they were so happy she finally got her eviction approved to get that woman out of her house and what she thought, I'm sure, was out of her doggone life. But she said that she put the stuff outside. They did not come right away to get it. And when she did come, it looked like she just kind of went through and picked through the items and took what she wanted and never even really came back. So how am I supposed to be responsible for that? All the financial burden you put on this person and you continue to do so. She also has a claim against DMV apartment lady who is an activist in the area for $30,000 claiming involvement with the missing property. So she just reaching out to anybody to put anybody under the fire clearly. So $500,000 from one person and $30,000 from another person, from all the stuff that you have put all of these people through, and you think somebody owes you still. Now, the owner of the Airbnb was finally able to get that property sold, so it is out of her hands, thankfully. I'm sure it has a very negative experience for her, so I'm glad she was able to get that property sold. But the DC squatter lady talking about, I am never letting this go. I'm going to refile those claims the judge dismissed. This is going to be a never-ending story. Never-ending. I really want somebody to provide the lady some therapy because you cannot wreak havoc everywhere you go and for years at a time, ma'am. Please stop.
So, y'all remember that DC squatter who was squatting in the Airbnb and then the lady had finally gotten her out of the house in December and the eviction was done? Boom. So now the DC squatter has came back and done a lawsuit of $500,000 of damages and or missing items from the home that, according to her, happened during the eviction process. So, she, along with the $500,000 worth of luxury items she said was on this list, of things that she had made that was supposedly, allegedly in the house. She also is suing for emotional distress and defamation of character. Now, the court already dismissed those two claims, but the $500,000 one, they're still looking to go further with. And the Airbnb owner said none of that stuff was in that house when they were taking things out for her final eviction. So, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, you were squatting in the lady's house for the longest of time, and then you get to court, right? Back in December, she gets to court, and you got a whole newborn baby and a man by your side. How do y'all fuck and have a baby in somebody else's house, and you know that you haven't paid the rent there, but you're going to make another bill by having a baby? Does that translate? Does that make sense to y'all? But yeah, that's what's going on right now. Oh, and then the Airbnb owner, she said that this stuff was just too much for her to handle. She ended up selling off the Airbnb property. I said, God damn. I'll call you back.
This lady is so unserious, and I can't deal with her. DC squatter. I'm gonna get her name wrong. Shadija, I think I got it. Shadija Romero sues homeowner, claims $500,000 in missing items, ma'am. Infamous DC squatter Shadija Romero is back in court now suing homeowner Roshan Douglas for $500,000. I know you are lying. Claiming luxury items went missing after she was removed from the property. So you couldn't pay rent, but you can afford luxury items. Okay. And Romero had booked the Northeast DC home through Airbnb, blah, blah, blah. Judge previously ruled she had no tenant rights, blah, blah. And allegedly used a pattern of paying 1 month's rent to claim residency, then delaying evictions through court filings, a house voucher application. She also reportedly owed $50,000 in back rent at a previous residence. So let's see what she says is missing. But do we think they're like real, or do we think they're like from DHgate? A gym bag, beads, mini beads, shoes, workout materials, detergent, 3 Steve Madden suitcases. I didn't know they sold suitcases. Samsonite suitcases, MetaQuest, a TV, 3 fire sticks, 2 Ring cameras. Oh, you can get a Ring camera. 3 security doors, an iPad Pro with a pencil. Be so serious. 10 Kate Spade bags. Be so serious. Fendi. She's not serious. Oh, 5 Lego sets, guys. Artwork from Colombia, Jamaica, and Mexico. So you have the money to go to these places but not pay your rent. Tiffany bag, MCM bag. Do you know how much MCM bag costs? You could have just paid your rent with all of this. Meta glasses, girl. 2 meta glasses. Clear frames. No. But if you were having trouble paying rent, like, why not just sell all this stuff? Or am I delusional?